This is my new film medium format camera, the Bronica etrs, and I have been loving this camera for my street photography, and on this video I want to share the reasons why I like it so much, so maybe you can decide if this kind of camera is for you. The main reasons I love using this camera so much is how fast it allows me to take photos. For me, I mainly capture candid street shots, so I need to be really quick. Normally for medium format I use my reflex 3.5f, but that one slows me down sometimes a bit too much. But this Bronica have this viewfinder that is the one I use. It's called the AE2 viewfinder. It has an automatic mode. It means that it's basically an aperture priority mode. So I just need to worry about setting up the aperture I want to use, and the viewfinder will allow me to just expose the photo correctly by just hitting the shutter button. Also, when I look through the viewfinder, it is very clear, very crisp, and extremely fast to find the right focus. So with this camera, I never miss a candid shot. The other thing I love about this camera is that it's modular. So the lens, the body, the viewfinder, and the film holder, they are all detachable. So first of all, this can make the camera more affordable because you can get the different pieces progressively when you see a good offer. And also the thing I love the most is that you can interchange the film bags like this very easily. So if you have more than one, you can have different types of film inside, and depending on your shooting conditions, for example, if you are shooting out there in the morning with a low ISO film, but you're still shooting at night, when it becomes darker, then you can stick another film which is higher ISO, or you can interchange between color and black and white. So I think this makes the camera extremely versatile. And also you can choose the viewfinder depending on your shooting style. So for example, at the moment I have this eye level viewfinder, as I already explained, but for example I have the waist level viewfinder that you can use as well if you want to try those kind of compositions. So I think this modular approach makes this camera very versatile, and it can adjust to many shooting situations. This camera is also very compact, so for being a medium format camera, it's really not that big. It's really not that heavy. Maybe I'm a bit biased on that because I'm used on carrying medium format cameras around my neck. But yeah, it's not that big or heavy, and especially if you are using the waist level viewfinder instead of this one, then the camera really becomes very small for being a film medium format camera. The Bronica etrs is also 6x4.5 format, and then that's a really cool thing as well because you will get 15 photos per roll instead of the usual 12 that you would get in a 6x6 format camera. Those are the reasons why I'm loving this camera for my film street photography. And just before we go, I want to give you a tour around the camera so you can see all the buttons and a bit more of the features. So starting from the lens, we have aperture ring as usual, and then here we can adjust the focus, and here we have the depth of field previous button, so you can check that depth of field before shooting. Here we have the lens release button. This is a cable release as well attachment. On this knob here we can select the shutter speed, which ranges between 8 seconds and 1/500th of a second. Then we have the film holder. If you're using this viewfinder, you can set up the ISO of your film over here on this knob, and you can select if you want to have overexposure or not. And on this side, you can select the mode. So this is the one I talked at the beginning, the aperture priority mode. You can have the meter disabled, or you can have the manual mode, which basically shows you what shutter speed you would like to use, but it doesn't select it for you, so it's just kind of suggested by the camera. In here, this is the node for selecting single or multiple exposures, and this is the crank, so by rotating this after each photo you move the roll, and also you cock the shutter as well. And at the bottom of the camera you have your standard mount for tripod, and this camera does need a battery because it has an electronic shutter, but you can use the, if I'm not wrong, the 1/500 of a second. If you don't have a battery, it will default to that value, but for usual operation you would need to have the battery in the camera. Hopefully you learned one thing or two from this video, and I hope if you decide to get this camera you enjoy it as much as I do. I will continue to use this camera for the autumn coming and the winter as well. And right here I will leave you with two videos. So on this one I talk to you about my reflex, and on this one I talk to you about my 35mm camera of choice, the Pentax MX. See you guys on the next one. Take care.